Welcome to Spam Filter for Your Brain, bite-sized ponderings on how our thoughts influence our behaviour and our lives, and because we're all connected, how our thoughts impact the world. I'm here to help people reconnect with their bodies and declutter their brains. And I don't believe that we should just magically know how our emotions and our thoughts impact our lives if no one ever teaches us. So let's learn this stuff together. This week, I want to talk about one of the most important questions that I find myself asking whenever something gets a little bit tricky or something feels a little bit uneasy in my body, or I'm just not quite sure. Something feels off and I can't quite place it. And there is one question which I fall back on each time to try and really investigate what is going on in my brain, in the pieces that I'm trying to join together, and how I'm applying this to threading it in amongst lots of stories that I've decided from my past and from my future. And this one key question is, what am I making that mean? So it might be, for example, that I think that someone has spoken to me quite sharply. I can ask myself what I'm making it mean that they're speaking to me in that manner or that perceived manner, and what I'm making that mean about them, what I'm making that mean about myself. It could be that I've made a mistake on something. Maybe I've dropped the ball on something with work, or I haven't followed through on something that I was hoping to get done in a day. And if I just can stop and ask myself, what am I making that mean? I'm able to pause, and instead of getting lost in a spiral of drama, of perceiving my observation about what is going on or my general gut feeling as absolute fact, what I can immediately stop and do is see, where am I using this sudden new piece of information as evidence that stories that I'm telling myself about myself to be true? Where am I making it join the dots between probably something dreadful that I have been thinking about myself or saying to myself, and I'm using it as evidence to mean quite often, maybe it might be the sort of stock standards are, I'm not good enough, I didn't show up well enough, I'm lazy, I should be more, I should be doing more. These kind of standard, I think all of us have a handful of mean things that we quite often are our default insults to ourselves in a way. And when we can kind of notice what the incident or the interaction in front of us has brought up for us, we can start looking at some of these thoughts and thinking, okay, so let's say it's something that I have dropped the ball with on work, and I've decided that means that I'm lazy, or I'm not doing good enough, or I'm not enough. I can have a look at any one of those thoughts and think, not judge it as this is a terrible thing to be saying, or this is a terrible way to speak to myself and I shouldn't be doing that, because that just adds to a whole load more pressure and self-flagellation and bullying of how I'm getting things wrong. But I kind of think of these things like you're picking them up with a set of tweezers in a way and sort of dangling them in front of my nose and going, when I speak to myself like that, do I like the results that it gets me? How do I behave when I'm telling myself these stories? What are the kind of things that I say and do to myself and those around me when I'm repeating these negative narratives? And when I take those actions, what are the results of those actions? So it could be that I'm a bit more grumpy with my partner, or it could be that I don't take as much sort of loving care or breaks in my work for the rest of the day, and so therefore my back ends up hurting at the end of the day. What are the results of the actions that I take when I think something like that? And do I like them? And are they things that I want to keep? I really try and pay attention not to judge things as right or wrong, but just keep falling back on, do I like the results that it gets me? So the question that I fall back on regularly is, what am I making that mean? And from there, I can work out whether it's the meaning that I'm assigning to it is something that I want in my days. I know that many people in Self-Care School have found this question to be really useful to take in and thread through their lives, especially when things get tricky, and I hope that you find it useful too. I look forward to seeing you next week. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast here, I would love to invite you to Self-Care School. Self-Care School is a membership site where we have group coaching calls every week. We have a whole load of courses that you can dip into for whatever suits your needs. We have courses on confidence, body image, timekeeping, how to manage big emotions, overwhelm, loads and loads of stuff in there. You can kind of pick out whatever you want to work on. There is a big library of workbooks, which includes journal prompts and questions for you to be able to apply this work to your own life. And we have the most amazing community where people support each other, we learn from each other, and you get to work alongside people with quite often very different life situations to your own, and we learn so much together in community. If you would like some more of this, please do hop over to selfcareschool.co.uk.